Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WCS Premier League. This is Group B. We're going to get into game number 2 here very shortly.
Of course, don't forget to show the players your support. Tweet to them, and anywhere in your tweet, just put in mlg.to/WCS America. We'll get it up there on that scroll bar and all the commercial breaks and stuff so everyone can know. Of course, these players do have your support.
I don't think we're allowed to actually pick favorites because we're casters, but if I had to pick favorite, it would be critters. The critters on the map. Those always are my favorite. And the random people that you give names. But we're going to check to see if both of our players are ready. And it looks like both of them are. So let's get on into the map. It's going to be Belshire Vestige, game number 2.
Of course, this is going to be a map we talked about before how effective speeding run-bys are on this map. Similar to Cloud Kingdom in many respects, I feel. Actually, you know, while the maps look different and they're kind of like one of them is vertically rectangular, the other one is horizontally, they both have a very similar feel to them as far as the routes around the map, how important ramps are, and we saw how effective Violet was in speedings on Cloud Kingdom.
Right.
This could be a repeat potentially.
And I mean, we could just see, just going over the map, of just how many ramps there were. I was trying to count. I think I hit like 6 or 7 ramps. STARCRAFT 2, very, very, a lot of ramps. It's a series of small ramps. That's basically what STARCRAFT 2 maps have become. So it looks like we're having that nice little first 9 probe going out there, throwing down the pylon, being very, very safe. Looks like it's going to be a Forge Fast Expand coming out here from Oz, but oh yeah, I should probably get into the players and positions of the map. Spawning up here in the top left-hand corner, our blue Protoss player who already threw down his first pylon. It is Oz. Down here in the bottom right-hand corner, our red Zerg player already up 1-0 over his opponent. It is Violet from Team Azubu.
So it does look like Oz is going for that Forge Expand, similar to the last game. Saying, you know what, this is my favorite build, I'm going to stick with it. And also, similarly to last game, not scouting after putting on the pylon, which is slightly more common, I feel, because if you don't scout after pylon, the Zerg can go hatchery first and you can't block it. Of course, having a Forge up, you could try to cannon rush, but that's kind of unpredictable. If the Zerg defends really well, you may end up very far behind.
That's quite true. But of course, you always want to have something a little bit up your sleeve in case you do find yourself in a situation where a cannon rush would be able to do a lot of damage, and you know, being able to have that, if you know, in your sleeve, saying, you know, I have the ability to do this. Oh, finds the drone and immediately reacts and is going to go block that hatchery. Very nicely done here by Oz. Got quick reaction time, and once again throws down the pylon. Zergs right now out there in our spectator group, they're probably all just groaning under their breath. They all have to deal with this stuff every day on ladder. Or unranked, depending on how you want to play.
Notice how once the probe has regenerated its shields, it then could go take the drone on again. Of course, the drone had to retreat because drones regenerate life, but not quite as fast as the Protoss worker. Of course, the Protoss shields only regenerate when the Protoss is out of combat. So when he leaves combat and he can't block the hatchery anymore, that's when he puts down the pylon to prevent the Zerg from turning that drone into a hatchery at these expansions.
But while the drone is attacking the pylon, the probe regenerates its shields, it cancels it, and it can then engage again, blocking that drone from being able to throw down that hatchery.
But drone,
Oh, wow, throws down the pylon once again, that drone.
He sacrificed his life for this one.
Yeah. Well, wait, you were saying before that they're robots, and now you're saying they have a life.
Well, robots can have lives. Bender and Futurama.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
See? There's definitely some robots. They're artificial lives, but it's you know, I don't know.
Axlav, master of AI.
That's right. So here we see Oz getting double gas, you know, normal progression. And similar to last game, his Nexus is almost done, while the hatcheries are very far from being done. Of course, this came at the cost of having to spend those minerals on pylons early, so his tech isn't very fast. I mean, it's a 5-minute mark, and he's just now about to start a cybernetics core. So, you know, he's a little bit behind in tech, and Violet's a little bit behind in economy.
Nothing too bad here. Chrono boosting out those probes, getting more and more out here. Violet, it's 22-24, and both of these players are just going to sit back, econ up, and this is standard ZVP. I mean, we've seen this since Wings of Liberty. Nothing too crazy. In fact, I'm going to go read a book. I'll be back. You can have fun, Kath. No, I'm kidding.
Of course, because Oz is a little bit behind in tech, the Psychor is not super fast, there's nothing that can threaten Violet. So that's why over the past minute, you've seen nothing but drones in that production tab, and that's going to continue for most likely the next minute or so as well.
Once again, going for that Stargate, throwing it down at the natural. Actually, I think if a Zergling was to really try and press its face against the glass there at that forge, it might be able to see that Stargate.
It would die, though. So to the Zergling, is it worth it?
I mean, it's a Zergling. It doesn't
true.
really think about what it's
Probably
doing.
not.
The Hive has to tell it what to do.
That's right. That's right. Violet has to tell, and Violet would probably be more than willing to sacrifice it. Of course, he doesn't know that the Stargate's right there, so not gonna shoot to sacrifice. He has seen the 4 gases from Oz, though. Of course, he's seen 2 to natural. Now he's scouting the main. Seen 2 there as well, so he knows it is some type of tech build.
Diving that Overlord into the main base, there is not an anti-air unit just yet. In fact, the first anti-air unit coming out here is going to be a Sentry, which is going to tickle that Overlord to death. Otherwise, there's going to be a Phoenix out on the way. Actually, it's going to be Chrono Boosted, so who's going to win? Oh, this is actually kind of a race. And it looks like, actually, the Sentry is going to win. Yes, this is the little excitement I get out of ZVP beginnings.
But the Phoenix is the first one to get a shot off.
Ah.
So there you go.
That's what matters.
Yeah, definitely both of them now working in conjunction.
But who gets the kill is the point. Oh, the Phoenix gets the kill.
Yeah,
and that is what we learned the other day is what matters for promotions.
That's true. It could be a mentor one day.
2 Phoenixes now out on the map trying to take out some of these Overlords. Going to be costing, a couple hundred minerals here and there. There is one other Overlord that's very vulnerable, but I'm not sure those Phoenixes are going to see
it. Looks like it's right on their path. Unless he changes the path. Looks like he actually did change it a little bit, but
straight for it.
He changed it to make it even more towards the Overlord. So definitely going to take that one out as well. Of course, these Overlord's kills are nice. Ideally, you hide the Phoenixes, you catch the Zerg by surprise, and kill the Queens. But against a player like Violet, doesn't happen too often. And every one of his bases, he's got a Spore Crawler coming up to help protect the Queens.
So now we're just going on to a lot of gases, actually. This time we're actually seeing the gases at the natural and the 3rd base instead of the main base.
Phoenix is trying to find an angle to get some damage done. Spore Crawler is denying them at every angle. Of course, they can run in here and lift up a probe or 2 and run away before it does too much more than their shields. Oh, they do spot the Hydra Den being built.
And this is the exact same build we saw from Scarlet on this map.
This is.
So it is actually potentially that we're seeing a lot of Zerg players favor Hydralisks on this map. Well, I mean, also after seeing Stargate openings.
And this is true. And this map, one of the interesting things about it is it has a lot of ramps. But unlike some other maps, each of these ramps opens up, the vast majority of the ones, to an area that's much, much larger. And so it allows for these giant concaves on either side of the ramps. And Hydralisks are one of the few Zerg units that really benefits from those concaves. Of course, the greater range you have, the more you can benefit from setting up a massive concave.
Now we're seeing a very mirror-like game to that Scarlet game, as we're also seeing the Colossus Den. Yeah, the Colossus Den is now going up as well. So it's potentially going to be the same game, but actually, no, I'm sorry, as a 3rd base has gone up here for Oz. So we're not going to be going for that 2-base timing. Not going to try and push out those Colossus very early and catch Zerg off guard. Maybe he saw the Scarlet game and said, you know what, I don't think that build is for me. And, just going to go straight on into the Econ side. +1/+1 is about to finish up here for Zerg. I'm sorry, actually only just +1 Carapace.
So the real question is, how is Violet going to react to this? Because he could just try to overrun the 3rd base with Hydralisks, but I just don't see it working because with good force fields, with Colossi, with defending the choke points correctly, the Hydralisks should not be able to get that good engagement they need. So Violet has to figure out, okay, I obviously don't want to stay on just pure Hydra. As the classic count gets larger, I'm going to get slaughtered. I can try to put a little bit of aggression to slow his tech progression up, but I need to have a backup plan. And similar to last game, the backup plan looks like it's going to be a Spire.
Yeah, and the Spire is on the way up, but while that Spire is on the way up, a lot of Hydralisks and Zergling are moving across the map. It looks like they're actually setting up a nice little pincer maneuver here, trying to catch the Protoss army in the middle of this platform. And here come those Hydras. They're actually engaging the Phoenixes, which is going to actually delay them a bit. And they're going to be a little bit unsynchronized. Actually going straight for that Forge, going to try and deny that +1 armor upgrade and doing exactly that.
Trading off, 1 or 2 Hydras and a handful of Zerglings for some force fields and a Forge. Not bad. Is he going to go again? He's going to back away. Of course, without Zerglings in the front to tank, those Hydras will go down very fast, being absolutely melted by the Protoss Force. Violet's going to decide to back up, wait for a few more units. Now he has some more speedings with him, so he could go in for another round. He wants to keep Oz as distracted and busy as possible with this force. Even though it's not strong enough to take the Protoss out, most likely, if he's distracted, the muted transition will be very strong.
Looks like he's going to go harass the third base a little bit, setting up a very nice concave here, but there are a lot of force fields on that on those sentries, barely just getting away from those destructible rocks there.
And Violet is spot on with his army control, really minimizing the losses, keeping the pressure on. But Oz adding a second Stargate, so I think he is anticipating this game, that muteless transition, knows it's a possibility, knows his opponent is not going to stay on pure Hydra for the entire game. And in fact, now that he's seen the Hydras back away, and he's probably actually also noticed that there hasn't been a range upgrade yet. With the Hydras with no range upgrades, usually means that muteless transition. And Hallucinating Phoenix, is it going to be able to confirm? I don't think it saw any of the mutas being produced.
No, but the Spire is just about to be revealed to it, and there we go. He sees the Spire, and if he's very, very observant, he's going to see that the Spire is researching.
One Zell here bravely tries to take on a few speedings, gets taken out. Violet is going to look to do some true pronged aggression. Hydra's on the right side. Mulis now heading to the main. What's in the main to defend?
Nothing is there at all. There's nothing there. And it looks like Oz is going to start running to the main base. But unfortunately, there's going to be Hydras at the third. Now diverting all of his forces except for Stalkers to the third base. Roasting so many Hydras here with the Colossus on the high ground. Void Ray is also going to be chasing off those Hydras. Hydras with that speed buff are going to be able to get away. But those Mutalisks have done so much damage. 20 workers have been killed here by Violet in the main base.
Some nice trades there by Violet. Of course, he is losing a lot of this Hydras force. It's on the retreat, but it's been greatly diminished. So trading a good amount of his Hydras for the ability to take out a lot of the economy of Oz. Actually, these Mutalisks, they're going to fight the army. They're going to kill all the Stalkers and Phoenixes. We may be in a little bit of a base race as Oz struggles to hold off the Mutalisks, and Violet struggles to hold up this massive force that's pressing towards his natural.
Now here comes that Mothership Core, does throw down the Photon Overcharge. These Mutalisks are actually starting to take a lot of damage, but all of them are taking them pretty evenly. So not many of them have actually fallen. They're all just taking a lot of damage, but that's going to leave them weaker for later on. The natural is under siege here from Oz and doing a lot of damage once again, taking out that one evolution chamber. But I think that Violet's force is going to be able to kill things a little bit faster.
Violet also has 5 bases right now, so he can afford to lose a couple and still maintain all his production. Oz only has 3, and now he only has 2. Forge going down before the upgrade completes. Oz, of course, is massing a lot of cannons in his third base. This is going to be his last holdout, but he really needs his army to actually take out more bases of Violets before he can be happy with the way the space rate has progressed.
The Mutaflock is now coming back. A couple of Phoenixes are going to scatter off, but those Phoenixes need to be with the main army. There's not that much anti-air here. There are sentries, there are Void Rays, but the Phoenixes are not present. All of the air is being taken out. The Phoenixes trying to run away, but they just don't do enough damage to this huge Mutaflock. It looks like Oz is going to lose everything. Violet with a huge supply lead.
More and more Phoenixes coming in now, but you know what? As soon as Violet kills all the Zelts, even if Oz micros perfectly, kills every single Mutalisk, Violet can just rebuild Hydralisk. It's 4 bases to 1.
GG is called. Violet takes game number 2, 2-0 Violet. Beautiful play from both of our Zerg players today.
You know, people say never base trade a Terran. I think Oz learned never base trade a Violet, because that did not go well for him in either one of those games.
Well, that was wow. So let's take a look over here. We can see those Mutalisks just tearing through the anti-air units. I mean, Stalkers are pretty much the only answer he had there. A couple of Phoenixes as well, but the Phoenixes just keep having to move away to, not get taken out immediately. And here comes that force just going into the natural, but it doesn't matter. If you don't have any bases behind that, the Mutaflock is just going to be too much. There's nothing anti-air in that force, really.
There really isn't. I mean, the Phoenixes couldn't do it on their own. And I really love what Violet did there. He didn't try to defend with his Hydralisk. Those Hydralisks came forward. They helped take out the Nexus. And what's important is they ensured that the Phoenixes couldn't be annoying his Mutalisks.
Yeah.
And so he could focus all his attention on getting his drones out of his bases, re-macroing up, retaking bases to ensure there's no way he would lose that base trade.
Well, guys, that was a very convincing game number 2. So Violet is going to proceed on as well as Scarlet. We're going to get into our next match, but real quick, we're going to go to a commercial break. Stay tuned.